So I've tried to do this video several times now, and it seems like quite a serious, heavy topic. So I'm drinking chocolate milkshake. It's like a meal in a bottle, and it just makes life seem a little less heavy sometimes. It's weird how stuff plays out. I've had about 6 messages, inboxes over the past 2, 3 weeks, with people wanting me to talk about grief and how people deal with grief and all that kind of stuff. They've all asked to remain anonymous, so you know I'll respect that. It's a tough thing to deal with, and if I'm honest, I'm not a counsellor. I'm not a guru. I'm not a healer. So in real terms, I can't actually help anyone. All I can talk about is perhaps my own experience and some thoughts of stuff which does work or might work. I think it's important when you think about grief and what it is. Quite often you can feel isolated in that, and it's very important to remind yourself that actually grief it's something everyone goes through. So you're not alone in it. You're not isolated in it. We even see it in the animal kingdom. Grief is a healthy emotion. It is, it helps our brains recover. It helps us quantify loss, or qualify. Sorry, not quantify. And yeah, it is a healthy thing, and there's ways we can deal with it which are good. And like any emotion, there's ways we can deal with it which are bad. I think probably the first thing I would look at doing is removing this urban myth, and you hear people say it all the time. It's fucking ridiculous, actually. They say time's the greatest healer. Time is a healer, but it's only a healer if you can identify what the problem is. Now, grief usually isn't the problem. It's sort of like grief is this. It's like a tree, isn't it? Grief is the trunk, and coming off of the trunk, you have roots and you have branches, and those branches might be anxiety, stress, loneliness, anger, regret, and all those other emotions which are related to grief. Now, if you're in a position where you're struggling to come to terms with grief, I think it's quite crucial that you identify which part of grief it is that you're struggling with. Which bit keeps tripping you up, and which bit is stopping you from moving on. Do you need to apologize to somebody? Does somebody need to apologize to you? There's a working out which needs to happen, and some people get, it's like they hear this time's the great healer, and they might be sort of like 5, 10, 15 years on in grief. So what's all this bollocks about time being a great healer? It doesn't add up. But there's a reality to that. It's like time may have passed, but how much time have you actually given yourself? Have you managed to step outside of your life and sit and look at what's happened? It's important. It's important to stop and weigh stuff up, and I think often people feel guilty that they don't have time to stop, or they feel life is too busy. But you have to respect yourself, and you have to withdraw yourself from a situation to assess it better. Grief doesn't go away. Like any of the emotions, none of them go away unless you stop and deal with them. You can bottle it up and it'll resurface. All emotions do. So yeah, I would definitely be considering looking at which part of grief it is that I'd be struggling with. And this is probably going to sound a bit cheesy and cliched, but hey, if it works, it works. If you look at what the opposite of grief is, for me, it's beauty. So in times when I'm down, and you see it in funerals, don't you? It's like people come and they lay flowers, and it's the opposite. I don't know if that makes sense. I can't think of a better way of putting it. But for some people, that beauty, it might be poetry, it might be music, it might be artwork, it might be something far more contemporary. It might be just getting out in the countryside, or any number of things like that. But you need to make time to absorb those things, and just look at the positives in life, which hopefully would help you being consumed by grief. I think I'm doing lots of ums and ahs, aren't I? It's a really tough subject. Thanks, guys. Um, I think each moment has its own lessons of joy and sorrow, etc. And they can only be experienced at their fullest when we give up trying to be in control, and let go and allow the changes to happen. And I think another side of grief is that we feel that we've been robbed, that something has happened outside of our control, and we try to claw it back. And I think that's one of the things which keeps us holding on, and keeps us in that state of grief. Um, I this is going to sound odd. I do quite a bit of meditation, and that helps me a great deal. And I would encourage people struggling with grief to look at going through that process. Um, a lot of people get confused about what meditation is. It doesn't have to be something spiritual. You don't have to class yourself as a spiritual person. You don't have to light candles or joss sticks or sit in a certain way. It's just escaping yourself. It's finding that place where you can switch off and not think at all, and just slowly bring elements back into the room. What sounds you can hear, what's your breathing doing, and then through that slow process you can start to think about the deeper things, like what I was saying the triggers of grief might be earlier. I don't know if this is helping at all, but it's what I've used on some other people, and it's certainly a tool I find works on myself. But yeah, I think the key ones is that don't feel isolated. You're definitely not on your own. Everybody gets it. Everybody has their own coping mechanisms for dealing with it. Surround yourself with people who you can trust, people who you can share your experience with, and just be open with where you're at. I think we try to hide so much, don't we? We like to let people think that we're okay, and I think grief is one of those moments where it's fine to say, hey guys, I'm not okay. I'm really fragile. I'm really broken. I need your help. I need your support. I need your laughter. You know, um, that I think is as far as I'm going to go, or else I'm going to enter counselling realms. And because I'm talking to 6 different people here, I'm not prepared to go there. So I don't know if that's helpful or not, but yeah, be honest with yourself about where you're at, and get some people who you trust, who you can share your experience with, who you can talk it through with. Okay, thank you.